Joy Reid attempts to talk about inflation and proves race hustling is her entire skill set. New York Mayor Eric Adams decided the race card only appreciates in value as you gain power. And AOC proves that she can't flip anything blue on this side of the bar. This is The Laughing Libertarian, and I'm your host, Alan McFarland. All it took was a few years of not teaching kids cursive or how to read an analog clock for Joy Reid to decide she could teach us about economics. And where did she begin, you might ask? Blaming CEOs, of course. And why not? Because it's easy to hate the rich. How dare they make decisions that would balance the losses of the previous quarters or protect their company during the impending economic downturn? People who don't understand economics, Joy Reid, Bernie Sanders, AOC, believe that inflation is caused by wealthy people just turning the screws of the market because they have a stranglehold and they just need more profit. This is only true if they don't have to mitigate a rise in their costs. Most companies have to outsource something, and hell, it's illegal to have a monopoly. And they come in different forms such as technology, raw materials, and even labor. And labor, that's a fun one. Joy Reid can't really help us with this one though. Her show probably has, 3 employees and 10 interns. Otherwise, they'd have more people on set than watching at home.
Hello. Hola. Bonjour. Chinese, hello.
And now she loves to claim that wages are high, which makes the current economy difficult to understand. You see, it's not that difficult when you say high wages in another form. Your wages are also known as labor costs. So while high wages sound great, high labor costs, not so much. And while she began by hitting the nail on the head by explaining the rapid influx of free money paired with lazy people who don't want to alleviate the pressure on the workforce by, joining it. But no, she protects the Joe Biden administration. It's not like they screwed up the supply chain or anything. It's not like they hire underqualified people for positions based solely on race and sexual preference. But unlike Joy Reid's show, the functional industries that make an impact on this country rely on the supply chain. But hey, when you devalue currency after creating a higher demand, you create inflation. And by those powers combined, you create a situation where businesses pay higher freight, higher labor, higher utilities, and higher raw materials, all while trying to obtain a limited amount of product. And most of these products are consumer goods that aren't necessarily important to us in our day-to-day lives. Most of these are made outside of the US, so they don't even support the US workforce and are actually prone to higher freight prices and delays. So should a store sell the few items they can get at cut-right prices? What do they do when they run out and there's nothing else available? You can run out of ways to make money a lot faster than, running out employees who want a paycheck. So Joy every day has like 42 and a half people tune in for her show. And you're welcome, by the way. I did tune in this week. And you have an endless supply of BS, none of which is dependent on the supply chain, because as soon as your supply has a hiccup, you just serve your product with a garnish of racism.
No. No Negroes here.
Negroes? Ew. Hell no.
That takes us to our poor New York Mayor, Eric Adams. He's just misunderstood by all those white folks reporting the news.
We need to really stop distorting the news. And, I'm going to say this. And, I'm not saying it out of hate. I'm saying it out of love. I'm a black man. That's the mayor. But my story has been interpreted by people that don't look like me. We got to be honest about that. How many blacks are in the editorial boards? How many blacks are determining how these stories are being written? How many Asians? How many East Indians? How many South Asians? Everybody talks about my government being diversified. What's the diversification in the newsrooms? So everybody go back with their predispositions, and my role as mayor is being interpreted through the prisms of your realities and not mine. So when you write stories, you're not writing stories for people who was almost homeless like me. You're not writing stories for people who were arrested and beat by police officers. You're not writing stories from those who are dealing with high crime. You're writing from your prisms. And I'm not saying this to attack, but my administration is going to be about saying the obvious that other people are uncomfortable with saying. Discomfort is growth. So I say that to all your owners of your papers, your editorials, diversify your newsroom so I can look out and see people that look like me.
And maybe it's my skin color, but also I've heard him say this.
In the police department, I kicked those crackers' ass, man. I was unbelievable.
Now, is that being misunderstood by my white ears or misrepresented by my white mouth? What if white politicians followed suit? This isn't new. Last year, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot refused to answer questions posed by white journalists. So what we've learned is that when a black mayor screws up,
I kicked those crackers' ass, man.
it isn't a mistake.
I kicked those crackers' ass.
It is simply a misrepresentation. That's power right there. Hispanic politicians don't get to deflect and call their shots like that. And Jesus, could you imagine a white politician complaining about minority journalists misrepresenting their true intentions because they don't understand the prism of whiteness?
I kicked those crackers' ass.
What if they refuse to take questions from minority journalists altogether?
I kicked those crackers' ass.
And people in power are just rubbing their racist tendencies right in our faces and convincing us that it's acceptable because they're a protected class. Nevertheless, Mayor Adams says in order to represent him, you have to be a person of color, have been nearly homeless at some point in your life, and you have to have been beaten by the police. So quick, run out and get your press credentials from your local Black Lives Matter office, or hell, go straight to Louis Farrakhan himself.
And I'm here to separate the good Jews from the satanic Jews.
Unlike a liberal cost analysis chart, we are going to go full circle. And AOC had a big week. First, she said Democrats were going to turn Texas blue. Then she blamed smash and grabs on the loss of the child tax credit. So let's look at those individually. How are you going to turn Texas blue? Well, AOC thinks the route to success is found in unionization.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Let's look back at that economics we talked about earlier. If there are plenty of work opportunities and wages are high, why would workers pay an additional tax for representation that they're probably never going to use? Unions had their time, don't get me wrong. I love that 40-hour work week and those safety guidelines. They're fantastic. But like most things, what have you done for us lately? Most are taking a significant membership fee and are responsible for jacking wages so high that their company's products aren't really competitive in the marketplace. And the Right to Work Act really broke them. Furthermore, most union workers are hardworking, blue-collar people. Good luck trying to get your local pipe fitters union to embrace fitting their lips around your party's crack pipe kit.
It's 5 o'clock.
Did I miss the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
And if that wasn't funny enough, she gave us an encore. See, she claims that smash and grabs are a direct result of ending the child tax credit. Now, I grew up poor and I've never been in a Louis Vuitton, but my mom hasn't either, so I'd have to assume that Louis Vuitton isn't necessarily a hub for Gerber.
Busting glass display cases and stealing the jewelry inside Tuesday afternoon.
Huggies? Similac?
I'm a big kid now.
I'm a big kid now.
Look what I can do.
Walk and talk and play, there's always something new. Went from baby bottles to drinking from sippy cups. Went from wearing diapers to rocking these fresh pull-ups. They fit like underwear.
Holy crap, there's Gerber. See, we had to look fairly hard, but I think we found out why she believes this.
Tell us, please. We want to know, how'd you get that golden glow?
If you like what you saw here, catch all the shows on Rumble and YouTube, subscribe at both places, share us on your social media, and smash that like button.